Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. This is episode 390 of the Ping Pong Flix Show. There's got some pretty good DCEU updates. First off is Joker. This is coming from JoeBlow.com. The Joker director Todd Phillips describes the origin story as a slow burn. Ever since the announcement that was being made, people knew to expect something different from director Todd Phillips. A unique Joker origin story, which is simply titled Joker, made with a relatively low budget for a comic book movie, a reported $55 million. The movie is meant to harken back to the character studies of the 70s, like Taxi Driver, and with that comes a lack of the superhero action we expect from the genre. This is what he says. "You're not starting at 11, said Phillips while talking with the LA Times about the movie. You'll get to 11, but we're really starting on 2. And it goes from 2 to 3 to 4. It's a slow burn." Phillips co-wrote the movie with Scott Silver and continued to discuss how he, as someone who doesn't often watch comic book movies, wanted to make a movie about a character like the Joker, played here by Joaquin Phoenix, but in the style of the movies that inspired him coming up. That means introspective character work and ditching the exploding cities. It really came from this idea. What if you just did a comic book movie differently? We all grew up on these character studies and they're few and far between nowadays. So it was like, let's do a deep dive on one of these guys in a real way. No one is going to fly in it. No buildings are going to collapse. It's just going to be on the ground, so to speak. He also elaborated a little bit more. "I knew that War Dogs wasn't going to set the world on fire, and I was thinking, what do people really want to see? The movies that I grew up loving, these character studies from the 70s, you couldn't get those movies made in this climate. I'm staring up this billboard, and I said to myself, what if you did a movie in that vein but made it about one of those characters?" So that is pretty much the essence of Joker, and I kind of elaborated about that when I did the trailer review. What he's doing is he's making a film like Taxi Driver, like these films, the character studies films, using elements of the comic book genre, using elements of DC and applying it to his story, which is incredibly cool. I mean, we're always trying to go the other way around, and I think it's important for director-driven studios, hopefully director-driven studios like Warner Brothers, to continue making this type of movie. It actually inspires the auteur to come in and say, hey, you can make a movie that you want to make, and you know what? At the same time, if you want to create something interesting, use some of our other properties. You can use Harry Potter, you can use Godzilla, you can use DC films, you can use our properties to make the movie that you want to make in an original standalone story. And I think that's why this Todd Phillips movie is such a unique thing, and it could actually open up possibilities for other auteurs to come into the studio, even including Zack Snyder come back, because the environment for Warner Brothers is rich of possibilities by having them be able to make this type of film. So I'm all for it, and I'm pretty excited for the Joker movie now. And for people who have been seeing some kind of leak script going around, there's some stories that are going around. I haven't read it at all. He had this to say, and that leak script going around, it's what Phillips thinks it is, a draft from April 2018. He said they're in for a big surprise when they see the movie. The script changed quite a bit between that version and when they began shooting last September. So if you think you know the story of Joker, it's quite probably that it's no longer the movie that you read. If you did read some sort of leaked script that was going around, I haven't, so I'm pretty much in for a surprise, and I'm really eager to see what this film can come up with. So that is coming out. I think it's coming out on TIFF October 4. Oh, I'm sorry. It's coming out TIFF next month, and it hits theaters on October 4. But the cool thing is that we don't have to wait too long, possibly, for some more DCEU goodies, right? Because what's the next movie coming out? It's Birds of Prey, the emancipation of one Harley Quinn. The fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn is apparently landing imminently. This is coming from Trailer Track. We got a look at Kathy Ann's Birds of Prey in a costume test sizzle back when production began earlier this year. And now our first proper tease of the film is set to arrive, no doubt in time to play on the big screen with It Chapter 2. Next week, the sub 40-second sneak peek has been rated by Germany's FSK. Given the brevity of the reel, we wouldn't be surprised if Warner Brothers went to the route of Christopher Nolan's Tenet and solely have it play in cinemas. And given the time frame before release, a longer next look in time for Joker is very likely. But as soon as it, and if it does come online, we will be sure to have it here. And here's this is the picture of the little slate right there. You see it's in German, but you can pretty much tell, well, you can tell from it. Birds of Prey, Warner Brothers, and running time of 39 seconds at 24 frames per second, or 37 at 25 frames per second. And so, like he said, this probably won't go online, although it will be leaked and people will see it, like Tenet. You know, I got to see Tenet in the theaters, but I also got to see Tenet online. Having It Chapter 2, I don't know if I'm going to have time to watch that, so it'd be cool to see that little 40-second sneak peek for Birds of Prey to come online. And you're like, that's it? It's 40 seconds? Hey, it's a longer, way longer, longer than the other teaser that we got, which was only 7 seconds? I forgot how much long. It was really short. So we'll get a little bit more of the actual movie, because that was just a costume test sizzle reel, right? This is an actual movie. This is parts of the movie we'll actually see. We're going to see that fantastic Chad Stahelski, John Wick type action in it. Are we going to have hints of what the story is about? Are we going to have hints of the style of the movie? Are we going to have the hints of the tone of the movie? I think this is so exciting to see what this comes up with, and I am really eager for that It Chapter 2, not because I'm a horror aficionado, which sometimes I am, but because there's a possibility of Birds of Prey, the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, the teaser to arrive as soon as next week. Oh, we're in for some great DCEU goodness, man. And it doesn't stop there. There's one more thing that I have to talk to you about, and this is incredible, right? For people who are fans of Ezra Miller as the Flash, for people who want to see that Flash finally made. It's going through so much trouble. It's going through so much production headache, so many directors, but still Ezra Miller is the Flash. This is something from Eric Davis at Fandango. He got to talk to Andy Muschietti, which is quite possibly something that we'll hear a lot more of as It Chapter 2 starts to come out. He's going to be in the public eye a lot more. A lot of people may be talking to him about the Flash a little bit more, and he's going to have to divulge some information. But he had to say, this is the article from Fandango. All eyes are currently on It Chapter 2 as it gets ready to kick off the fall movie season in a big way at the box office. The film officially hits theaters on September 6th. Snag your tickets right here at Fandango. Oh, God. Promotional stuff right there. And early buzz is already very strong. The success of the two It movies has now offered director Andy Muschietti options as to what he works on next. And the filmmaker has now confirmed to Fandango that he will direct a DC movie based on The Flash, starring Ezra Miller, who will reprise his version of the character as seen in 2017's Justice League. During a recent interview for It Chapter 2, Fandango correspondent Nikki Novak asked Muschietti if Flash would be his next project, in which he replied with a smile, "Yup, it is." When we followed up to ask if his Flash movie would contain horror elements similar to the It movies, Muschietti seemingly shot that down. an element of horror? I don't think so. What captivated me about The Flash is the human drama in it, he said. The human feelings and emotions that play in the drama of it. It's going to be fun too. I can't promise that there will be any horror elements in it, really, but it's a beautiful human story. Not much is known about Muschietti's Flash movie at this moment in time, except that Ezra Miller is set to return to the role. Currently, there is no release date or production timeline that's been officially revealed, and back at Comic-Con, Muschietti told Fandango that he wanted to take a little time off after It Chapter 2 before diving into the next project. Will the long-awaited Flash movie finally go into production next year for a potential 2021 release? And hopefully we'll get more updates on that soon. So this is exciting. This is just a little bit of breadcrumbs towards the understanding of what the Flash movie is. It's been reported before that Ezra Miller didn't want to sign on to the previous Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daley's movie because that was too comedic in nature. He wanted that darker story, and when I mean darker, meaning a serious tone. And I think hearing what Muschietti talks about here, he's there to bring out that human drama. And human drama is not necessarily all light and fun. There's a lot of different dark elements to it. The Flash was born from that serious dark past where his mom died. His father is in prison, and I think Muschietti is going to capture those moments. And I think the way he talks about he's going to focus on that is great. That's probably something way better than maybe the other two directors were going to do. They were going to go through fun comedy, something that was more likened to the lighter parts of Aquaman, the lighter parts of Shazam. But even Shazam had their human dramatic moment beats as well. But I'm wondering if The Flash is going to go even deeper. Coming from a director like Muschietti, I think seeing It Chapter 1, seeing how he can portray that darkness and serious tones, I'm very curious to see how much he's going to play into that movie. I want to see that. And I'm hoping, and this is going to be, a very fan cast, but someone told me that wouldn't it be great to see Skarsgård, actually the person who plays It, the clown, wouldn't it be Pennywise the clown? Wouldn't it be cool that if he became Reverse Flash and he go against Ezra Miller's Flash? Whoa, how's that for fan casting for you? I gotta thank 4 or 5 different people who have suggested that to me today, and now I cannot get that out of my brain. That would be a surefire win of a movie right there. And so I'm really excited to see what happens next. I think Andy Muschietti, they're really going to ask him questions about this, so we'll probably hear a lot about it more. But until then, there's the Joker to look after, and next week, a possible teaser for Birds of Prey. All right, that is enough for tonight. I want to thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.